just wanted to talk to you a bit about the generalities of learning from successes, or from the failures and turning them into successes. Just your opinion.
Well, I think failures are, I don't call them failures, I made bad decisions, but I corrected that decision.
Right.
So to me, that's what it is. I think a failure is something where you quit and you go away. Mm-hmm. I think you have problems, and you solve them, and to me, that's what it's all about. You're constantly solving problems in your businesses, or you're changing your business to do something. So it's not really a failure. And not everything works out. You may have to change it to fit. I say to people today, the biggest thing I see is, look at our menu when we started, look at that today.
Right.
It wasn't a failure back then because it was doing really well, but it's sure a difference today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think those are things to do.
And now, do you find that in your story for the book, it was more or less have the boots on the ground first,
Mm-hmm.
so make that spend before you actually think about the revenues coming in?
Well, you have to have both. You can't, like I said in the book, you look at it and say, you have to make sure your product is what people want,
right.
And you start selling it. And then when you work on it, at the end of the time, it starts to show the profits you need. And you have to adjust them because you don't know your prices are right. They're up and down like a yo-yo. So I think that when you look at all these things, I look at it on the basis, we were selling stuff in 1 year that we weren't, at the end of the year, we were doing good volume, we weren't making any money. Mm-hmm. So I brought this guy in that looked at it and said, you have to raise your prices $1 across the board. And I thought, oh, I'll lose all my customers. Well, he said, you don't have to worry because if you don't do that, you won't be business next year.
Right.
So what happened with that person? He now is my partner. He was from KPMG, and he became my partner. So we raised the prices, and you know what? It worked.
Right. One of the interesting things that you gave in the book was going down to Mexico where you're not in the tourist areas, mm-hmm. and you still have long lineups.
Yes.
And the ability to stay non-cultural, if you
yes.
will. And that's important, whereas some other chains go cultural.
I think what people are looking for in other countries is not the same as they can get from a regular. Like if you're going into China, you don't want to start selling Chinese food because you think that's what they want.
Right.
They can go to their own special Chinese restaurant. Same in Mexico, when you go there, they weren't looking for another Mexican restaurant. They were looking for something that's unique, they saw on television that you can go and have, and it's from the U.S., mm-hmm. they think. It actually came out of Canada.
Right.
So I think it's, again, knowing your customer. What are they looking for?
Right.
And it's no different whether you're in London, Ontario, or you're in Guadalupe, Mexico. It's no different. The customer is the person that dictates what you should do.
And it's the last question, I know we're on a bit of a time crunch. The book really introduces a lot of complexities
yes.
of being in business, and when people seem to watch Dragon's Den, they see the simplicity of, oh yeah, I can kind of do that, and blind passion and all that. Can you talk about that and the complexity?
Well, I think we complicate things too much. Okay. I'm a very simple person.
Right.
I didn't have a big education, and our business that I got into was very simple. The Greek family that started it, and Gus and I were sitting one day, and he said, this is the easiest thing to do in the world. All you have to do is do it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's a simple business. What we try and do sometimes is complicated. And I think that's where we get into trouble. I think a lot of businesses, if you look at computers today, I mean, look at the computer 20 years, 30 years ago, it filled this room mm-hmm. to get very little out of it. Now you're looking at a machine like this,
right.
and it does as much as that machine did in home.
Right.
Why? Because it's simplified.
Right. That's interesting.